Welcome back to the show. Now, we told you earlier that today is a Woman Wednesday and we'll be celebrating a phenomenal young woman who has done so much, not just for herself, but for Africa. She's shown us in a brighter and in a better light. Enough of the talk. I have with me in the studio Zuriel Oduwole. Thank you for joining us, Zuriel.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, we're glad to have you too.
Yes.
Now, tales of your good deeds are all over the internet. The world's biggest media houses have carried your interviews.
Yeah.
How did this journey start?
Well, that's a good question. It started when I was 9, and what happened was I created a documentary on the Ghana Revolution. Now, whenever someone creates a documentary, they have to have primary and secondary sources. Now, it was easy for me to find secondary sources because they had books in the library and online articles, but I didn't have any primary sources. So I did further research, and I found out that Flight Lieutenant Jerry Rawlings, who was also president of Ghana, had a major role to play because he started the revolution. And so I sent letters to his presidential offices, and in a few weeks they came back saying they'll be glad for me to interview him in Ghana. And that's how it started. So that was my first president at age 9, and since then I've now interviewed 19 in total.
Wow.
And the most recent. I mean, I love the way you make the story sound so simple. You know, I had a project for secondary sources, and the first source, I just sent a letter to Jerry Rawlings, and he called. You know, what made you at the age of 9 to think, I can write to a president? Because I'm 25, you know, obviously I'm joking, I'm not 25, I'm older than 25. But in all my years, I've never thought to myself, let me write to a president, maybe he will respond to me. What gave you that inspiration and that can-do attitude that I can, or I have the right to send a president an email or a letter for him to respond to me?
Well, growing up, my parents always told us to think outside the box, right? So I could have just gone to find some locals who were there during the revolution, or I could go to the top and find the person who actually started the revolution, because I thought that would be a great primary source for my documentary.
Wow.
Fantastic. So did you at any point think he's never going to respond, or were you sure he was going to respond?
Well, I had faith in the Lord. I had faith in the Lord that he would come back and respond to me.
All right.
All right, thank you very much. We still have Zuriel Oduwole in the house. We'll be going on a quick break. And you know how we like to do on the show. We reward you with airtime for watching. So just after this, we'll be right back with Zuriel.
So last month, I was in Namibia to meet with President Gangog as he celebrated his first anniversary as president. Now, his priority for Namibians was education. Next month, it would have been a year since you became president. What would you say your priority for Nigerians has been?
Security. And I said it a long time, even before the election, that Nigeria, at this stage of development, has three fundamental priorities. One, security. The country has to be secure before it can be efficiently managed. Secondly, the economy, employment. Nigerian population, more than 60% is youth, and youth are described from 35 years and below. Most of them are unemployed, whether they do school or not. So this is a very serious threat to national security. And then, of course, the side one is corruption, how to fight corruption.
That was a video of our very own Zuriel Oduwole interviewing President Muhammadu Buhari at the Nuclear Summit in Washington, D.C.
Yes, that is correct.
How did you feel interviewing your own president? That was the first time you were interviewing a president of Nigeria.
Well, actually, it's my second time. I interviewed President Goodluck Jonathan about a couple of years ago, but I was very, very honored when the president allowed me to come and speak to him, and especially being the president of my home country.
Yes.
It was a true honor.
And to be fair, he hasn't granted many media interviews. He has held public addresses. He's addressed the media publicly, but not many one-on-one interviews. So well done for that. That was a great achievement.
And it was beautiful. The things, I watched that interview. You can check out the full interview on YouTube. I watched the interview, and she asked very reasonable questions. She analyzed his first year in office. How do you get to know all this? Are you being taught? Do you watch the news? How do you get to know all this?
Well, we watch the news. From a young age, our parents always say we can read books, go play outside, as long as we make sure you watch the news, because that's the way we'll be able to see what's going on around the world. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to know it. So I watch the news a lot, but then also whenever I go and interview any of these presidents or prime ministers, I have to do a lot of research and find out what questions I think are going to be key to ask during the interview. And so with all the presidents I've interviewed, for example, the presidents of Tanzania, Malawi, Liberia, South Sudan, and Kenya, I always research specific topics I think would be best to ask the presidents.
Okay, so there are a lot of people watching and they must have this mindset of, oh, she has it all, she has everything figured out for her. Let's take a little look into your childhood. What was growing up like? Did you have everything you ever wanted?
No, I wouldn't say that. There was a lot of times that after something, my parents would say no. So I had to learn from a young age, you can't always get what you want. You have to work for specific things, and you have to do certain things in order to get the things that you want when you get older. So that's how I was growing up.
Now you seem like a very grounded young woman. I've met you, I've had the opportunity to meet you a few times, and I know that you're so down to earth. You almost had to read your CV to understand that there's greatness standing in front of you. Obviously, everyone is born great. But I want to ask you, how do you keep level-headed? How do you still be a regular 14-year-old and still be that power woman who's sitting and dining with presidents and prime ministers?
That's a good question. 我是女儿，我13岁，我喜欢玩运动、跳舞，我的妹妹和弟弟也看书。
Okay. Wow. So you answered us in another language.
What
did you
language
say?
was
Please
that?
tell us.
That was Chinese.
Okay.
Me and my second younger sister, Azalea, we can speak Chinese fluently. And basically what I said was, I think I'm a normal girl. I mean, I play sports with my friends. I have dance class with my younger siblings. I love reading and playing with my friends.
How many languages do you speak?
I can speak 2. English fluently. I'm sure you can tell.
Yes.
And Chinese fluently.
So, Baoni.
Okay, I'm going to teach you one Yoruba.
That's
word.
Yoruba.
That Baoni means how are you?
How are you?
So when she says Baoni, you say Mowakba. Are we ready?
Mowakba.
Nice one.
Baoni.
Mowakba.
Fantastic.
Nice. Oh, she said, oh, she's really doing well.
Fantastic.
All right.
Now, who would you say has been the most challenging person or the person you looked up to the most to interview? One. And then who would you like to interview? Who is the one person that if given the opportunity with all the people you've interviewed, you'd like to speak to?
Well, with my interviews, they're all different in their own ways, right? For example, when I interviewed the president of Malawi, she encouraged me to follow my dream, which is to, when I get older, become the president of the United States of America.
Woo. Nice.
You can do
Thank you.
it.
Thank you very much. I hope I get your vote.
If I'm allowed to
You
vote,
were allowed
yes.
to vote. Okay.
And then there's other presidents. Whenever I interview presidents, it's usually because there's a cause, whether it's talking about education or how much they've done to help improve the education system in their countries. So who I would like to interview, I'm not sure, because again, it has to be a reason I'm interviewing the presidents or prime ministers.
Okay, so she asked, basically, is there any one person you're looking forward to interviewing somebody? Oh, we have a video of you over there.
Yes, that was the president of Guyana.
Of Guyana.
Oh, yes, you had the mediation between the presidents of Guyana and
Venezuela.
Because as you may know, there's a lot, they're arguing over a piece of land because of oil. It's always about the oil, right? And so I went to speak to the president of Guyana because I wanted to say if they go to war with Venezuela, then the children in both countries are not going to be able to go to school safely and get an education. I mean, we already have a lot of unstable countries like Syria, Iraq, South Sudan. We don't need any more unstable countries because then it means there will be a lot more children who are out of school.
Okay, we're going to speak to your father shortly. But first of all, you always say that your focus is to shine the light on Africa, to let people know the positive things that are going on in Africa. So far, what would you say have been the challenges that you have faced in trying to do this?
Well, challenges, I'm sure when you watch the news, right? Whenever they talk about Africa, negative things, the wars, the famine, the corruption, and disease. So back home in Los Angeles, some of my friends actually asked me if we have houses here on the African continent because when they watch the news, they see people walking through the desert with cows and cattle and everything like that. They don't see any houses. So again, the media is portraying Africa as a negative continent, right? So there's some challenges where people already have a mindset that if they go there, there's not going to be much there. So it does take some time to try and show them that through my documentaries that there's a lot of positive things in the African continent. So my last documentary, it was called A Promise in Africa, and I focused on the country Nigeria. And that showed in South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, in the UK, and in Japan.
Fantastic.
Wow. How old are you again?
I'm 13.
No way.
All right, we'll be going on a quick break. We have a music video for you. When we come back, we'll be speaking not just with Zuriel, but with her dad. Stay tuned. Have with me in the studio ordinary people doing extraordinary things. We have Zuriel Oduwole and her father, Ademola Oduwole. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I didn't plan to be here, but
We
it's an honor.
know. We are always so grateful that you
Thank
decided
you.
to
Thanks
come
for
on
having me.
You
Thank
did
you.
a special handshake just when we came on
Oh,
air. Could you
yeah,
show us
so,
and tell us the
sure.
significance of the handshake?
It's just a little thing. 'Cause we're on the road a lot. We're on the road a lot, and we're very close. You know, I always, when I was trying to embarrass her, I would tell her, close your ears. I tell her, listen, I was there when you popped out, so I know everything about you. So we're very close. So we have a lot of things. We have fun. We have a lot of fun.
Now Zuriel is making you very proud. You and the whole family, she's making all of you very proud. Did you see this in her? All these things that you're seeing now, did you see it in her when she was born? How did you discover it? I'd rather say.
Well, honestly, if you see, there's nice and there's honest. If you want nice, I'll tell you.
No,
yeah,
honest.
I'm sorry.
I want honest.
Honestly, listen. Every journey starts with a purpose. You have to know why you're here. You just can't be here and be hanging around. No, you have to know why you're here. Well, my wife and I, we had an agreement. Okay, we have to commit everything to the Lord. So let me back up. Even before I met her, you know, I did all the regular things, you know, my late teens, early 20s. You know, I figured out at some point I'd get married, so my parents are not disappointed. So I was looking all the wrong places. You know, I did the clubs and I did the library. I was looking. I just got tired of looking. I said, Lord, you know what? I'm tired of looking. You have to find this woman for me because I'm tired of looking. Because, say, I'm blind. I can't see who's behind me, so how can I plan long term? So I said, okay, this is a deal. So for 3 months, every morning I said, Lord, it's Monday today. Remember me? You have to find me a wife. Dear Lord, it's Tuesday today for 3 months straight. And I just got tired of it. I said, okay, you know what, I'm done. So much when I met her, I didn't think it was hard because, see, I was looking with my physical eyes. But he heard me all this while I was yelling. So he found her. So I said, okay, this is a deal. Before I met my wife, I said, Lord, I only have 2 prayers. Wherever my wife is, I know she's already born, otherwise I'll be too old for her. So she's somewhere. First of all, please, wherever she is, please begin to forgive her sins because I don't know what she's done. Second, begin to line the walls of her womb because one day I know we will have children. So I began to pour, even before I met her, saying, every seed that comes from her womb, they must be the head and not the tail. Okay? They must rise and not fall. Even before I met her. And the first one that came out from her womb is this one. So it's the power for you have to declare, you have to call those things that are not as though they are. Otherwise, so that's why I said, let me step back. That's honest. That is honest.
Beautiful.
Wow.
That's honest.
I mean, there's so many things right there, as you just said. Wow. And I'm sure, you know, Olive cries at every little thing. Every little thing, I beg your pardon. And I'm sure in her mind, she's like, oh. But I think that is so powerful. You know, yesterday on another show, we were talking about the influence that parents have on their children.
Right.
You know, there was a celebrity that put a picture up on Instagram, and he put a picture of a mother, you know, talking to her daughter in the olden days, and now a mother twerking and saying, this is the reason why we have children like this today. And we were asking, you know, is it how important is it for, you know, how influential are parents in their children's lives? And obviously, you know, we can see that. But Zuriel, I need to ask you about your dad. If you, I mean, putting you on the spot, if you were to list 3 things that you look up to in him, 3 qualities in your dad that you admire, what would you say? I know, I said I was putting you on the spot.
Let me see. Trustworthy.
Okay.
Trustworthy. Never gives up.
Never
gives up. And caring.
Oh. And finally, Zuriel said you made her read the news all the time. Is this
Watch
the news?
Watch the
rather.
news. See, there are 2 things. See, when you're a parent, so when I came in here and the woman said, what are you doing? And I said, oh, I'm head of security. She said, okay. Really? I said, no. I said, listen, when you're a man, the moment you have a daughter, your title changes from dad to head of security. So I'm her head. Really, I'm being honest with you. So I'm head of security. So my role is to guide and guard. Guide means go this way, go that way. God means I have to watch what you feed in your ears and your eyes. So we tell them, listen, you can play, but 1 hour you have to watch the news. You have to watch the foreign news and say to yourself, there's a lot of problems going on. If I were in charge, how would I fix it? In other words, I want them to use their computer. So that's all we said. We said, listen, you want adult privileges? You must have adult responsibilities. So we let them roam free, but we have guidelines. That's all. I'm just a regular guy, ordinary people. I
Doing
I have
extraordinary
children,
things.
so I have to make sure I'm guiding and guiding them. That's all. But like, my wife should be here. She gets all the credit. She's a phenomenal woman. She should be the one here, not me. But she's back in California. So.
Thank you so much to the Oduwoles for gracing our set. Our fondest regards to your wife and to your sister. We know that you present news with your sister as well.
Yeah, oh, I have 2 younger sisters. There's Zelia, who is 11, and Ariel, who's 8, and then my younger brother is Tukai, who's 6.
Wow. All right, we'll be going on a
Thank you
quick
so
break.
much.
Thank you so much for watching and thank you for joining us. We hope that you've been inspired just as much as we have. When we come back, the show continues in a bit.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love her.